boogeyman.
As a matter of fact, it was.
The third commercial. It's still on, please. Take off the third channel. The third channel. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
How can a man do this, Loomis? Tell me.
It isn't a man.
What is he?
Evil.
What happened to the sister? She died, right?
No, she faked her death. Hoping and praying every year that her brother won't find her.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape
What the hell do you do that for?
so I can kill him?
I forgot how I opened it last time.
I don't remember either, honestly.
Let's just start it. We're just going, Micah. Like Stewie Griffin would say. Imagine if Stewie Griffin was Loomis.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
He's evil. He's not human, Micah.
Just get Seth MacFarlane to play Loomis in the next reboot in Halloween.
Yeah.
And he does all these weird little voices.
Lois is Lori.
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Loomis. He's my brother. Is that your brother, Lori? He's evil.
Oh, no. That's so stupid. Then who would be Michael? Peter? Peter Griffin?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he doesn't talk, but after he like kills someone, he goes,
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane, hire us. Give us at least 20 seconds on your shitty show to do that bit.
Yeah, please just get. I mean, even get us in the boardroom to meet with people who can make it happen.
To pitch them.
Yeah, because I guarantee you they will love our ideas.
We'll unify Fox and Universal that way.
Oh, God.
What do people like? Halloween? Family Guy. Put them together. It's a win-win.
There's an intersecting market there that I don't think the Halloween franchise has tapped into.
All you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. But Michael's going to change that. Okay. Let's talk about H20 and possibly our favorite movie in the series, Resurrection.
Oh, no.
I say that with sarcasm in my voice. But you've done your research on H20 and I guess kind of more of like these movies in general of the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And you've kind of opened up that rabbit hole. So I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Yeah, because I always feel like from an outsider's perspective and having watched these movies for years now, but basically,
yeah,
like I've always wondered, like it's such a weird franchise. There's so many movies, and I've always been curious about like how they thought of making them, like why they ended up like the way they are. So it was like super interesting to just watch like the documentaries, especially for 4, 5, and 6. And even these ones, because there's so much like weird behind the scenes drama. Like for H20, in the time between Halloween 6 and H20, they were basically like, wow, H6 sucked balls. Like no one liked that movie critically and no one saw it. So like we gotta retune things here. But before they made that decision, I guess they were planning on just making a straight up continuation of the Halloween 6 storyline with Tommy Doyle. And it was even had the same screenwriter that wrote 6.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, needless to say, I don't think anyone is interested in that idea.
Yeah.
So then I guess at some point, they just put their feelers out there to see who was willing to come back from the previous films. Because they didn't have Donald Pleasance, so they didn't have that legacy pull anymore.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So they were like, you know what, let's talk to Jamie Lee again. And then it just so happened that she was open to doing it at that point in time. So then they basically just rewired all their gears. They went back to square one, dumped all the ideas they had, then they put everything into making a script about Laurie and basically where she'd be 20 years later. And then they, because of the times, like Scream just came out, basically revitalized the slasher genre.
Yeah, H20 is like basically a Halloween's take on Scream.
Oh yeah, and it feels that way.
There's a lot of Scream energy in there. Mm-hmm. I think that's safe to say about most like 90s and early 2000s slashers.
Yeah, for better or worse, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they knew what people wanted during that time, so they even got the screenwriter for the Scream films to do a treatment of the H20 script. And basically he penned a version of it where it was like still in continuity with 4, 5, and 6, oddly enough.
Okay.
And then the only thing that would tie it in, because I think we figured out from 4, which we missed somehow watching it, but I guess Laurie Strode died in a car crash. That's what they say.
Yeah. There's one throwaway line about where the most iconic character in the whole franchise is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, and then it just so happens in this movie, she's also had faked her death. So they were going to just merge that and say Laurie's just been hiding all this time while Jamie Lloyd has been getting stalked by Michael Myers, which kind of makes Laurie pretty unlikable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess there would have been a scene where they acknowledge that, or like somebody in Laurie's class while she's teaching, they're doing like a book report about Michael Myers for some reason. And then they state like basically what happened to Jamie and that she died. And then there would have been a moment where Laurie like has to excuse herself from the class and like go cry in the bathroom.
Why would she assign that assignment?
I don't. Well, no, I think.
Hey guys, research my trauma.
Yeah.
Do a report on it for me.
No, yeah. It makes no sense at all. But yeah, so that would have been the idea. But then eventually they were like, we don't want to deal with any of that shit. Like, let's just make this a fresh start and basically reboot it. And this is really the first time that the Halloween franchise, other than 3, decided to start ignoring sequels. And that's kind of where that trend started. So I've kind of gone into the writing side of things, but I guess early on as well, they even had John Carpenter in serious talks to direct H20. And I think it was mostly because of Jamie Lee Curtis. She was really trying to pull him in and get him to do it because she knew that was what the franchise had been missing, is like the original guy to come back and like really steer the ship, because that literally hadn't happened since 1. Like he had not directed a single film, and
he only like wrote 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And begrudgingly did so.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was so close to doing it apparently that they even had offers on the table. But basically, what happened was John wanted $10 million to direct it, which I guess is a steep price for most directors, especially for a movie like that.
I mean, most horror movies, $10 million's the whole budget.
Yeah, exactly. 10 million would easily, like, yeah, that's like over half the budget for a lot of horror films, especially for that time too. But yeah, he basically pulled out because they weren't going to pay the 10 million because he felt that he got gypped out of a lot of the profits from directing the first one, because that was really his big breakout film. So he didn't really, they didn't give him a lot of the stuff that he felt like he deserved for being such a central part of the creation of that film and why it was good. Which I agree with him. I think it's like
100%.
It's such bullshit that the Akkads and all of them like just did not even try to share that wealth with him. Like, it's pretty sad, actually.
Now he's making money, because I saw this. It was like at a convention.
Yeah,
and he was just like, this was fairly recent. It might have been before the 2018 one came out. And he's just like, whenever they make a new Halloween movie, something incredible happens. It's like, I'm just watching TV. I look on my phone and see, oh, they're making a new Halloween. Then I raise out my other hand and magically a check appears. And he's just like, it's the job I've always wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he gets like they have to pay him to use the rights, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of fee now. He's probably worked it out. Yeah, so unfortunately that fell through, even though I guess they were really close to clinching the deal.
Man.
So then Jamie Lee pulled, I guess, someone else that had directed a movie with her before, who was not a horror director.
And yeah, that shows for H20.
Oh yeah, it is not scary at all cinematography wise.
No.
I could see what they're trying to do with the script, but like if it was shot in a different way, like I feel like it could have been a lot more suspenseful.
Yeah.
Because like it doesn't have any sort of style to it.
And we'll definitely get into that when we talk about Michael's appearance.
Then they got that director on, they got the script going, and then they just went for it. And I think their goal was to create have this be a shot of adrenaline for the franchise and be like a fresh start for it. And I definitely think it feels like that, because I think we both really like this film.
As a fan, yeah, it does. It feels like this is what it should have been sequels ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a shame that Resurrection basically just flushes that all down the drain.
Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah, I really like H20. Even as a kid, I remember watching it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for I guess those that don't know anything about Halloween, and for some reason you're learning about Halloween the first time through us, essentially the plot picks up 20 years after the original. Laurie has basically gone into like hiding, or is it witness protection, or it's something?
I think she just did it, yeah. I think she just changed her name and moved, like...
Yeah, she changed her name, moved to California, is now working as a principal of a gated like private school, and she is a kid. And 17 years later, or 20 years later, Michael's back. And it works, in my opinion. I think what works so well in H20 that a lot of the sequels were missing is character development. Because there's a lot. And I mean, we talk about this, I feel like, in most horror movies. We've noticed a trend of if you have a solid character, like as a lead, that is complex and a bit like articulate, you will have a good horror movie because you're more emotionally invested.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like the stuff between her and her son is really like well done.
Oh yeah.
Her son not fully understanding her trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, I think I like Laurie's character more in this than the 2018 one.
Really? Okay.
Because in the 2018 one, I think she goes more extreme.
Yeah.
Where I feel like this is much more grounded and reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if he's alive or not. But just in case, I'm going to change my name and move across the entire country and just live a different life and do my best to put it all behind me. And clearly, regardless of, I mean, she's successful, right? She's a principal of the school. She has a child. Mm-hmm. But she's a functioning alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And it's clear that her husband, who she's now divorced from, was abusive, because there's a line where she calls him like an abusive piece of shit. So it shows that like while she can physically escape like the place of trauma, she can't truly ever do so.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think. I think 2018 does it a lot more in your face. Like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of guns and board up my house in case Michael ever comes back.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I think this one is just a bit more, I wouldn't say subtle, but it kind of fleshed out a bit more.
Yeah.
Where it's really focusing on just Laurie's life afterwards. And then Michael shows up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like a surprise. Like, she's not expecting Michael like she is in 2018.
Right.
Where it's just like, oh shit, he's here. I guess I gotta deal with all this trauma right now.
Yeah.
And confront it. And I really like, regardless of how Michael looks terrible in this, but I do really like when they first see each other again, when she like closes the door and they're looking at each other through that window.
Oh, they're just seeing each other for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time in like 20 years. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that is a good shot. It's a good idea. I don't know if it's well executed, but
No. I mean, but I mean, it shows like for me to feel something like emotional or just anything. Like it shows, I guess, how well Laurie is written as a character in a whole.
yeah,
Because I mean, we could argue like Laurie Strode is easily one of like the best like final girls from any slasher movie,
oh yeah, I think so.
especially of that decade.
One of the best protagonists in any horror film, really. I think.
Yeah, and I mean, she kind of like created the idea of like the final girl and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I like H20. I know it has a lot of flaws, and I'm very aware of it, but I like it so much, especially after just watching 5 and 6.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my god.
it definitely feels like we're finally like regaining some sanity. Like
Yes.
it's like it feels like such a breath of fresh air. Like
I'm actually following a concise plot. What's going on?
Right, yeah. People actually care about the characters and how they're portrayed for once. That's really what it feels like. And yeah, I kind of see what you mean with the 2018 one, because it is very like not subtle.
Yeah.
With everything that it's doing. And I definitely I feel like this version of Laurie in H20 is like a much more natural extension of her character.
Yeah, because I mean, Laurie is very grounded in
Yeah.
the original film. She's very down to earth.
Right, yeah. And I definitely can see that. I could see Laurie growing up to be like the head of a school, like just being like an upstanding adult. Like she was very like studious when she was young.
Yeah.
Like,
She didn't even want to go on a date with a cute boy.
yeah,
She had to
right?
study. And I mean, I guess you could also look at it like a principal is like a very like authoritative, like protecting role. Even if she's like, you know, maybe she got that job subconsciously, but it's just like she is kind of like a person that oversees the safety of all these kids, something that she didn't have.
Absolutely. I didn't think about it like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have good ideas sometimes. It's very rare.
No, you have good ideas all the time. Come on.
Aw, shucks.
It's true.
Well, what do you think in general? H20. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I mean, H20, I do like it. I think it's okay. That's as far as I'll go with it.
You think it's okay? You don't think it's good?
No. Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
will say I like the 2018 one more. Just I don't know. It's more interesting to watch for me.
That's that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah, I also think the lack of there's not a lot of horror in this movie. There's not a lot of parts
Yes.
that like I'm like, oh wow, that's scary. Like they did the original, and I feel like 2018 has a lot more like
2018, yeah, does incredible at tension.
yeah, like the Michael Myers in that is like leagues above like really any version besides the first one.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, but and then I even like Laurie more in the 2018 one. I just find her more interesting to watch. It's like it's more interesting to me to have somebody go through something like that and be so fucked up and then trying to fix it. Well, I don't think it's the most realistic and most natural extension of Laurie's character. Like I was saying, I just find it more interesting to watch.
It's definitely like, let's see how far one event in someone's life can push them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because like her paranoia of the trauma ends up leading to like kind of the downfall of her family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the 2018 one also really takes advantage of a feeling that I think most people who are in horror or aware of horror, who make horror movies, like they don't really understand or realize, is that they've made like horror movies for 30 years, right? Where there's an unkillable bad guy and he's after and he scares the living crap out of whoever the protagonist is. And so I think like having a movie based around where it's basically like, let's get revenge on this guy that traumatized me so much so long ago. I think that really tapped into something with a lot of people. I think that's why people responded so well to it when it came out. And I think it's a very interesting as a franchise to have such a terrifying movie like the 1978 Halloween, and then to have the 2018 one being the next one in the series where it's more about turning the tables on that terrifying experience and traumatic experience and like making it your own, which I think H20 does as well. But I feel like that was more of a point in the 2018 one. I don't know. I think it really all comes down to personal preference over it.
No, 100%.
Because I can see why people wouldn't like the gun-toting Laurie. Like that's like very on the nose. You know, I do like H20. I think it does a lot of things right, and most importantly, I think it sows a lot of those seeds like that will get fleshed out more in like 2018. Yeah, like this whole thing with Laurie being so long later being traumatized, like having that element in the 2018 one, but then also having the Michael Myers element be upped and actually scary. Right.
Because that's really what H20 is missing, and we can both, I think, agree, is that Michael's presence in this movie is terrible.
Yeah.
It is.
It's pretty bad.
It is at times laughable.
Because it looks like he's just gotten punched in the balls, like every moment that he's on screen.
This is what I noticed. He looks like a guy you would see at a horror convention doing a Michael Myers impression.
Oh, yeah.
That is how he carries himself in H20. And he has that weird oversized mask where you can see his eyeballs and his hair is all over the place. Mm-hmm. And like I think we were talking about before, like all the very unflattering angles they use to make him just look weak and small.
Yeah, they do not know how to shoot him.
A lot of moments where he looks really small.
Yeah.
And you watch like the original, and two is in this universe as well. And I mean, he's easily over 6 foot, right?
Oh, easily,
Like he's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, like, there's like the scene where Laurie like pretends to like be in the closet and he like goes to break it open. Like he is like not even at the door. Like he's not tall, is what I'm saying. He's a short king. Michael Myers is a short king.
He had to stand on his tippy toes to be able to look through that window.
Yeah, which I don't mind. I don't care, but it's just so inconsistent with Michael as a character.
Yeah.
And like his shoulders are always like slouched. Mm-hmm. And like the way he moves, and I think we noticed that as well in 6 as well. He just doesn't move menacingly at all.
It's like so that the way Michael is supposed to move is so like particular. Like it has to be like that. It's like right in between a human and a robot. The way he moves,
right, right, yeah.
And like I think the problem with this one and then this one in 6 is like Michael moves like way too casually. Like
that's it.
Yeah,
it's casual.
Right.
The way he like throws himself around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like I always think whenever I picture like how Michael moves, I always think of that shot from the first movie, right after Laurie like stabs him in the eye with a coat hanger, and she's like kind of like collecting herself, and in the background you just kind of see him like get up. But he's like not using his arms or anything. It's almost like a machine.
Right, yeah.
Like his like torso with his head just like raises and then he just like looks. And like that is always like when I think of Michael Myers movement, I just picture that. Mm-hmm. So to see him just like fumbling around like a bozo is so strange.
Yeah, it's not good. It's just not good.
Yeah, and I mean one thing that we also noticed with 4, 5, and 6 is Michael's motives are very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Where he, like, especially this one, where he had a moment to kill the security guard, but for some reason just didn't.
Yeah, and you're like, why?
Why? Like, why keep him alive?
Right.
And then go and kill these random teenagers that have nothing to do with Laurie? It's very strange. Or same like even in like the beginning, why he didn't just kill that lady when she went into the house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Or that bathroom scene too.
With little Gordon Levitt. It's hard because you need to balance between the original Michael wasn't so methodical. He was more just like really smart in the moment, if that makes sense. Like, he didn't plan. But when an idea comes to mind, he's like, oh, I could put this sheet over my head and, pretend to be the boyfriend.
Right.
That's like a good idea to get closer for the kill. And then later they just kind of like throw that, like, oh my God, the amount of times in this and Resurrection, Michael does the stupid Batman move where he's like above the doorway doing like a pull up.
Oh God, yeah, that was
and
awful.
Drops down.
Yeah.
That is so funny to me. Because Michael is just like holding on to that. And it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
If there's someone hanging over my doorway and I'm walking it, I'm going to see them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just not scary. Like, like Michael doing a pull-up down,
it's not scary.
That's just not scary to me. I don't know. If it was lit, creepier, and like he like descended down from like a dark ceiling or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe.
Or they use the lighting in your favor, kind of like Hereditary, when the people are just in the background.
Oh, right. Yeah, where you could just barely see him or something.
And they do kind of do that in 2018. They really use like the shadows effectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but H20, you just can tell it's not directed by someone that understands horror.
No, not at all. But really, they're just Michael in general.
Yeah, I mean, really, the final fight, you could say, felt more like a fight than like suspense or scares.
Oh.
It was just him and Laurie beating the shit out of each other. But I will say, I guess the one kind of scary part they did, which was kind of unique, was with that dumb waiter thing.
Mm-hmm.
Between the kitchen and the basement.
Oh.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, because that had a nice setup and payoff to it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen a lot in this, really.
Yeah, and Michael was like, it'd be funny if I trolled these kids by putting their dead friend in this elevator. And
yeah, see, that felt like Michael to me, doing that shit. Like, kind of fucking with people while
Michael kind of gets off on the fear.
Yeah,
a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, he kind of enjoys, like, if you look at him in, like, the first movie, like, he's a serial killer, he likes the feeling that someone else is at his mercy. Mm-hmm. And he really revels in that. And they really don't get that in these later movies, especially Resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I did watch these vintage, well, they called them vintage interviews, but it was just like interviews they did while like on the set.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd like pull Jamie Lee Curtis aside, pull the other guys aside. But one, you can tell that everyone involved genuinely wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And I was surprised of how big of a horror fan LL Cool J was.
Yeah, he seemed to be taking it all really seriously, actually.
And you know what? He did a great job.
Yeah, he did, honestly.
I love when it's like people's first time acting and they do great.
It's wholesome.
Yeah, it is, and it's just like they're there because they want to do it. But one quote I saw that was actually very cool from Jamie Lee Curtis, and I think it kind of goes into why H20 is a bit better of a sequel. Is she describes the first film, why the suspense is so good, is because we know Michael's in the house, right?
Yeah.
We know Laurie is in the other house.
Mm-hmm.
We know Laurie is going to the house Michael's in, and we know the police and all them are nowhere near. Like we can anticipate the movie playing out, like as it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said that they basically tried to recreate that, like showing you this is where Michael is in the school, this is where Laurie is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is where the kid is. And this is where they're all going to meet. Like they like that same anticipatory you get from the first film.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting, where they did at least kind of dissect why I think the first one is great.
Yeah, and I think that's where people in the previous films, like 4 through 6, like really didn't understand was like,
Yeah.
because I was so many times in those movies, Michael will just pop up.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
There's no reason. It doesn't make sense.
You don't see him like get there. There's like, you don't know where he is like at all times. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
it was annoying.
He'll have one scene where he like kills everyone in a police station, and then the next scene people are talking and Michael Myers just shows up and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like there's no suspense. He can just show up whenever.
You can just show up whenever. Yeah. And we're I think talking about that kind of ruined, I feel like, Michael to like the general audience.
Yeah.
Of people just like think Michael is this like omnipotent, invincible, teleporting being. And it's like, he's really not. He's kind of like a goofball, in a lot of these.
Yeah.
But I think there's just been so many just terrible versions of Michael that is kind of just like the mainstream knowledge.
Yeah, they don't have a good impression of him. And I think whether people know it or not too is subconsciously, like the sibling thing. I've said this before, but it just instantly makes him less scary to have like that kind of motivation.
If H20 didn't do the sibling bit, it would have been a lot better.
Yes, and also not having to deal with the baggage of, oh, last time we saw Michael in this timeline, he got blown up and was on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, just fuck it. Doesn't matter.
Which they don't even try to explain, which I guess I could see why, because how do you even explain
is fine.
that? Right.
I mean, they just explained it as Laurie being like, I didn't see a body.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, it burned to ashes. She's like, well, I didn't see a body, so I'm not going to believe it. She's following horror movie rules.
Exactly.
If you don't see the person's body dead, they are not dead. If they fall off a cliff, if they fall in a hole, if the camera cuts away before you see them actually die, they're not dead. Those are just the rules.
One last thing before we move on to Resurrection that I think we kind of need to talk about is the banger of an ending that this movie has.
Yes. Yes. I called in Carolina into the room because I was like, you have to watch this ending.
Yeah.
Because it fucks hard. It goes raw.
Yeah, no, it really does.
This ending, and I have held this same opinion since like I first saw this movie when I was like a dumb child. But it definitely has one of the best endings next to the original.
Oh yeah, if there's one thing that the Halloween franchise is really good at, it's like banger endings. Like I was thinking of this, like Halloween 4, Halloween 3, Halloween 1.
Rob Zombie's Halloween ends incredibly.
Oh yeah, even first and second one, really. I like the endings of both those movies a lot. It's cool because you just finally get to see something that is like at the same time really satisfying, but also like unexpectedly emotional. Like I don't know, like I never expected Michael to be like reaching out to her. Like almost for help.
The thing is, what I think is so incredible is that it's really hard to tell if he's reaching out to help or reaching out to grab her.
Yeah.
Because it can be interpreted as both. And I think that's what makes it so scary. Because if he is reaching out for help, you're like, oh, wow. Like, okay, this is like a human, But if he's just reaching out to kill her, it's like, oh, this man is literally impaled by a tree and crushed by a car, and he still is attempting to kill her,
Right, yeah.
So both, I think, are incredible endings, and I think the way they capture both is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of interpreted it as, I don't know why, because it, like, fits the moment more, but it's like, because, like, when Michael gets, like, pinned against the tree, he's, like, doing things you don't normally see him doing. He's like grabbing his head and he's like looking around. Like it's almost like I always interpreted that as him. It's almost like he snapped back to reality, like to that kid that he was before he just snapped and started killing people. Where it's like all of a sudden, like the weight of what he's done is like all like weighing on him in that moment, and he's like almost reaching out to Laurie because he recognizes her as his sister, and it's just like like, please help me. But Laurie knows it's like, you're not going to say like, it's bullshit. So then, it's like, it's just so good. And it's so well edited as well.
It is.
Like the way that it just cuts from her reaching out his hand and then just suddenly just like bringing that axe to his neck and cutting his head off. And then the Halloween theme kicks in right when that happens.
It's just a severed head.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's so badass. And it's like the classic Halloween theme too, where I think the whole movie you don't hear it. It's always the orchestral version of it. And then when that moment happens, it's like that 1978 Halloween theme kicks in. It's like perfect. Absolutely perfect.
If Halloween Ends is going to be complete dog shit, if it has an ending as solid as H20, then I'll just be like, fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, one of the things I noticed about it that is also really cool when you think about it is the first movie ends basically with Michael's victory, kind of.
Yeah.
Like he gets away, he killed all those people. Like you can't kill the boogeyman. That's basically what the ending says. But then at the end of H20, and the original, it ends with him breathing as is looking at shots of all the neighborhood. And then this movie ends with like Laurie breathing like a sigh of relief almost. Yeah. Or literally all you hear is the Halloween theme and just her breathing and just like I guess just finally being at peace.
Yeah, like she's able to get rid of all that baggage.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's an incredible ending, and I want to know what was going through the writer's mind in Resurrection when they decided to completely just disregard it and say, fuck that. That didn't happen.
Well, I could talk a little bit about that.
Because please do. Please do.
Because that was actually one of the major contributions to H20's script from Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream, was basically he was tasked with a way that, how can we end H20 and make it satisfying as like a trilogy? Like you can watch 1, 2, and H20, and then it all ends there. But also still continue the franchise into Resurrection, because little do people know that Moustapha Akkad has this awful like legal clause in his contract where Michael can never die.
Like the writers have to sign a contract that they cannot kill Michael Myers.
Right. So then Kevin Williamson basically just came up with this like harebrained idea where I guess when Michael was knocked out earlier in H20 before all the paramedics get there, he switches bodies with one of the paramedics and he breaks his like larynx or something,
so he can't talk.
Right. So then he puts the mask on him and he puts him in where he was, I guess, and the paramedics just pick him up without lifting his mask up and looking to see who's underneath for some reason. That was one of the most absurd shots in all of H20 was when they show him putting him in the body bag with his mask on. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, come on.
It's like, you don't do that.
No.
Yeah, but then it's like Resurrection says that, Laurie killed an innocent paramedic who had no idea what was going on, and that's why he was reaching out for help. And it just undermines the entire ending of H20.
Oh, yeah.
And it also logically doesn't make any sense. Because why, if it's a paramedic, would he attack Laurie in the van?
Oh, yeah. Like, he got up and he was going for her. Like,
yeah. It doesn't make, like, even if you can't talk, you would be, like, waving your hands like, hey, lady, I don't know. It just does not make... It's funny, I was actually looking at, like, the Halloween, like, wiki.
Yeah.
And there was literally just a huge list of reasons why that, like, fucking sucks. And why it just does not make any sense. And also, how would Michael know that Laurie was going to hijack the ambulance? You know?
Yeah, no, they had no idea. Like, the more you think about it, the worse it becomes, honestly.
Well, one thing that I thought was really funny is I found out Jamie Lee Curtis literally read that script. She read that and was like, no. Like, I'm not doing this movie. This is stupid. And they really pressed her, and she agreed on like 2 conditions. She was only going to be there for like a few hours for a day.
Oh my God.
and they have to kill Michael in the movie, or else she's not doing it.
Right.
And I guess they were so desperate for anything that they agreed. So I'll go into, I guess, like the absurd plot for people who have not seen Resurrection, because I feel like this is definitely like the least seen Halloween.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's definitely like one of like the lowest, like rated. But I mean, it's barely a Halloween movie. It is a movie that it is just a generic horror movie that they said, but what if we tied this in with Halloween?
Yeah, literally. It's just it's such a boilerplate sequel.
Yeah,
like,
you
there's
could make
no
this
creativity.
a Friday the 13th movie. You can make this whatever you want. It's just replace the bad guy and it's that franchise. But essentially the idea is that Michael goes home, just happens to be at the same time they're filming a scary reality show where these people have to spend the night in the house. And that's it.
That's literally it.
That is literally it. But I think what we need to talk about is the intro, because the intro literally just does not understand any of the characters.
Oh God, no, not at all.
I forgot how bad it was until I rewatched it this time.
Because it just feels so disrespectful and like insulting to the audience. Like to just
it's like you're stupid, audience.
Right. It's like you liked that previous movie and you liked how it ended. Well, too bad, because we're in the first 10 minutes of this movie, we're gonna sweep all of that under the rug. Just so we can have Michael free to kill a bunch of teenagers again. It's so bad.
And I mean, when you think about it, like technically, right? The whole setup of the Halloween, you're on two sides, right? Laurie escapes or kills Michael. Michael kills Laurie. That's both of their end games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Michael achieves his arc. You could call it that, right?
Yeah.
He achieves it in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So you're like, if I'm been following him for 20 something years, you know, and I just get, he kills Laurie. Okay. There's still like an hour and 20 minutes of this movie left. What's going on? You know, why would I care about anything else I'm going to see?
Right.
If you have these if you have these legacy characters, why do I care?
Mm-hmm.
It is beyond reason. Well, I think we came to the conclusion that they just wanted Jamie Lee Curtis so they could put her on the poster to sell the movie.
Oh, yeah. It's very misleading. She's like front and center in it.
Yeah, and she's in it for a few minutes.
Right, yeah.
And we realized that they used like probably a picture from H20 because she has short hair. But in the movie, she has long hair.
Yeah, super long hair.
Yeah, but basically the intro is that Laurie, like we said earlier, did not kill Michael Myers, but killed a paramedic, and Michael's still out there. And now she has been committed to an insane asylum. And you think, oh no, did Laurie go crazy? But really, she's like not taking the pills they give her. She's like planning and like waiting for Michael.
It's just so stupid because it's like, didn't you have a whole other life? Like, you're just giving it up just to be in an insane asylum? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It makes no sense.
And I guess they said like she felt so guilty about killing him, the innocent man. I mean, Loomis was never felt guilty about killing innocent people. You like Loomis?
Yeah, Loomis has killed multiple children.
Yeah, and it's so dumb because they use that in like, because like she eventually gets Michael like hanging there, and she's gonna finish the job, and for some reason he does the thing like he's pulling at his mask because somehow he knew the paramedic did that. And it would make Laurie get close enough to pull off his mask to make sure, but why would Michael have that knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I gotta make sure. And then he grabs her and stabs her, and then she kisses him, and then she dies. and I don't understand the kiss at all.
Oh no, it's
terrible. And
weird.
And you can tell they were really trying because like the music gets heightened and there's like they have like a fan aggressively blowing on her hair.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be all emotional.
Like they don't understand anything about siblings, really?
Yeah.
Or
well, you don't
their
kiss your sibling on the
relationship
mouth?
in general. Yeah, exactly. It's so fucking weird. Like it's just like it feels like a 2-year-old read like the script to H20 and like wrote that scene.
Yeah.
They had just such like a childlike understanding of what was going on and like all the emotion that was between them, you know, like it's terrible.
Yeah, like everything H20 and even the other movies set up, they just like, yeah, whatever. We gotta have Michael kill these teenagers. We gotta get Michael to go back to the house.
This is why Mustafa Akkad was the true villain of the Halloween franchise.
Yeah, I think this was his last one.
Yep, it was.
One thing I did think was funny, I found out when they did the reshoots for like the ending of H20 when he like kills the paramedic and all that, they actually used the mask from Resurrection.
Really?
They didn't even use the H20 mask. They didn't even bother.
Oh my god.
For the
they
reshoots.
Don't even care.
They don't even care. Well, the rest of this movie, you can tell they definitely didn't care. This feels like a movie that teenagers would go to. You know?
Oh yeah.
You know those like kind of lower budget like Blumhouse movies where it's like, what if there's a theme park but there's a killer and we're gonna make loud noises at you to scare you, and teenagers are like, oh my god, did you see that movie? You know, like that is, I feel like what Halloween Resurrection is pandering to.
Oh yeah, easily. This is the movie that they wanted a group of friends to go to on Halloween to go see. Like that's all it is. It's so feels so cynical and like insulting to whoever the hell is watching and whoever is a fan, an actual fan of the franchise.
And it's very horny for some reason, which we haven't really seen much.
Oh my god, yeah.
There is so much sexual harassment going on.
That, and even behind the scenes too, I have a story about that as well.
No, I mean, like everyone's like grabbing each other's ass. Everyone is like talking about how they want to fuck each other. And like one of the main girls, I guess she's supposed, like the bad boy is like always trying to get with her, and she's like, ew, you're disgusting through the whole movie. And then randomly she's like, okay, I'm ready to fuck.
Oh god, yeah, like what was up with that?
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like it's a childlike understanding of like relationships between people. It's like I don't like whoever wrote this is like I'm sorry, they're really dumb.
It's like if you were to show a bunch of like slasher scripts to an AI and have them write it.
Oh, literally, it is.
It is literally that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hear about this juice, about this sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Did Busta Rhymes do something?
No. As far as I know, Busta Rhymes was an upstanding individual on the set of this movie.
You know what? This movie may be absolute trash, but Busta Rhymes did actually really good.
No, I can't believe like he's made fun of so much for being in this. I get that it's kind of stupid that him and Michael like have a fist fight, but like
the karate fight.
Yeah, but like he's not bad at all. I don't think so.
He's not terrible at all.
No,
I would say he's good. So? Terrible at all.
No, like I would watch another movie with him and a better movie for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for that like a bit of juice that I found out, the actress who plays the blonde girl, who's like kind of like the crazy friend in this movie.
Yeah.
Her name is Katie Sackoff, but she's like one of 3 people who actually had a career after this movie.
Okay.
And the 3 people being Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks, who already had established careers, and then she ended up being the voice of Bo-Katan in the Star Wars Clone Wars show.
Oh,
and then she went on to play that same character in live action in The Mandalorian very recently.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, which is really good for her. I'm glad she was able to recover. But she basically had this YouTube video where she watched Resurrection for the first time because she had apparently never watched it despite being in it.
Oh, okay. I guess that's actually pretty common.
Yeah, especially I guess when you just know the movie is terrible. Like people just don't watch it. But yeah, she had an interesting story where there's that one scene where her character is like showing her boobs.
Yeah.
To the one guy just randomly for no reason at all.
Yeah, because he's like, show the internet your tits.
I know. And she's so resistant to it, but then she does it anyway. It like makes no sense character wise.
Well, I think she was like gonna tease him because she didn't show all of it.
Yeah.
But it's still like she showed way more than she should have if she didn't want to do it.
Right. No. And that was actually written that way in the script, where all she did was just lift up her shirt and not actually show even the bra.
Oh, God.
But then on set, on the day, the director was like, yeah, you pull up your whole shirt showing their tits.
This is Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then she was like, no, I did not agree to that. That's not in the script. Like, I am not even lifting up my shirt and showing my bra because I did not agree to that. And he's like, fine, whatever. So then, little did she know, after she was done filming, they went back with a stand-in and then filmed that close-up shot of of someone's chest and put it in the movie. So then you think that it was her doing that. Yeah.
That's insane.
I know, right? It's crazy.
How horny were they?
I don't know.
And it like serves no purpose to the plot.
Oh, no, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, like we were saying character-wise, because it's like...
It doesn't make sense at all.
No. Like her character is like mischievous and she's very resistant to any of that kind of stuff. So it makes sense for her just to like lift her shirt up and then not actually do it, like as a joke. Like, but then just to pull it all the way up and show everything, it's like, why?
I mean, you could argue for all the characters. Like, they know they're being watched by thousands of people live. Why would they just fuck in front of everyone?
Oh, yeah. It's terrible. It's really so bad.
I don't know if they were supposed to be making fun of, like, the reality shows and stuff.
I think that's what they were trying to do, yeah. Like, make fun of something like Big Brother.
They just don't do it right at all.
No.
Well, the thing I thought was funny is this movie was going to be called Halloween, MichaelMyers.com. And I think that is incredibly funny.
I know. Imagine if someone making a movie titled that today. Like,
oh my God,
so
you would be laughed
funny.
out of the room.
Yeah, you really would.
That is I mean, okay, you know what? I am going to give them some credit because this was 2002, right? Mm-hmm. The internet was fairly new. You know? So this stuff was crazy at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like which leads me into one of the most, I think, pointless characters is Deckard, the college boy.
Oh, okay.
Has been somewhat catfishing our protagonist, and they're having like an internet relationship, but they're not dating.
Yeah, that they were trying to be witty with that.
Yeah,
with, like,
and I mean, I guess they were like, oh, that's the setup, and he's gonna help her because it's live. And I'm like,
right.
Okay, yeah, that can be done well. But he is literally giving her the most basic information. It's literally just, he's in the house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my favorite part that I laughed out loud at was when they push him out the window and then they see that he's like hanging.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, oh, it's over, thank God. And then he just texts her, he's still alive.
That's literally probably the text Jamie Lee Curtis got when they were planning on doing this movie. She gets like a page, he's still alive.
And she started crying.
Yeah, she's like, oh God, please.
Mustafa Akkad sent her that text.
Yeah. God. Yeah, it's terrible. But I think one thing where we're gonna get into where it consistently they don't understand Michael's character is they give Michael a backstory, kind of.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
You never know how much was planted.
Right, because it could be part of the reality show that they're in. is what you're saying?
Yeah, like they found a like baby high chair with like chains on it. They're like, this must have been what they put Michael in because they tortured him as a baby. But then they like find the skeletons and it turns out they're just like props.
Right.
So, but and in my head, I'm thinking like the whole point of this show is they're like, we're gonna send these people in and maybe they can discover the truth behind Michael Myers. And it's like, like everything in that house is probably put into evidence.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
There's no way.
No.
There would be anything left. No. And one line I thought was really funny, I guess I don't know if it was to establish that Michael was still around or that like they were staging it, was there's like the cook guy's in the kitchen and he sees like spices. He's like, hey, you want to try some 20-something-year-old spices? And the girl's like, ew, no. And he opens it and he's like, well, this fennel is fresh. And my head was like, is Michael using spices to cook?
I know, it's so absurd.
Did he go to the grocery store and buy some fennel? It's so bizarre.
It really is.
I wasn't sure if that was supposed to set up, Michael's in the house, or they were staging it.
I think it was just bad writing. I don't even think they understand Michael.
Michael actually is a cook. He's making some ratatouille in there when he's not killing.
He puts the chef's hat on while he's cooking, like on top of his mask.
Over his mask, yeah. Well, we did learn that Michael eats rats, which I think is more in line.
Yeah,
with
I
Michael's
could see him
character.
Doing that.
Because you never like. I was talking about this with Carolina. Like, you never see Michael do human things. You know, like there's like that joke with TV shows and movies. Oh, you never see the main characters go to the bathroom. You know, you never see them like eat dinner or something. You know, they always like take a few bites and walk away. But like with H20 and this one where they show Michael a lot more casual. It's like the second you think about Michael in the sewer bashing a rat and eating it, it's just so not cool.
No,
you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
Like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 does it better, where like Michael actually has like trapping skills.
Oh yeah.
Like so he's able to like trap like a rabbit, not punching a rat and just halfly eating it. And it just doesn't make Michael again scary.
No. Like we said in the last episode with that Michael like struggling to like keep himself afloat down that ravine. It's just there's just some things you just do not show Michael doing, and like a lot of the stuff in this movie it breaks that rule. Like you see so many different things that are just not Michael Myers.
I want to see Michael take a hot steamy dump. I want to see them just like going through the house and it's just like Michael with his like overalls down.
Yeah, he has to take the whole thing off, so he's just butt naked.
Yeah, they're just like the whole suit's around his ankles. He's like, oh, and he's like trying to get it all up. That'd be awesome.
Maybe Michael just doesn't like even pull his pants down to poop. He just poops his pants constantly.
I could see it. And I can't even imagine wearing underwear either.
Oh, yeah. I do, yeah.
Because he was in a hospital gown and then he just got the overalls, unless he stole that guy's boxers.
Oh my god.
There's another thing about Michael. Again, they don't understand his motives because he straight up, Busta Rhymes is pretending to be Michael to scare them. And then the real Michael Myers comes up behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And he just berates. He's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be down there. I'm supposed to be carrying, blah, 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 and leaves. And Michael's just like, yeah, okay. And just leaves.
Yeah, like Michael was like, he felt bad or something. It's so bizarre.
Like, oh, I'm sorry I ruined your prank. Okay, I'll be over here. But like, why wouldn't Michael just kill him in that moment?
I know. It makes no sense. I guess when Michael just kills all his family members, he's just like a floating plastic bag in the wind.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. He's hitting a midlife crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I could kill, but killing hasn't been as fun anymore. It's him finding himself again. I'm just picturing American Beauty, but with like Michael.
Yeah. He's like sitting on his bed in that basement, like eating a rat and just staring at the ceiling. Thinking about life.
He goes out and applies at like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Just trying to find something to fill the gap.
All with the mask on, too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I want to see ends with. Laurie torments him so bad he just changes his name. Moves across the country.
He moves to like Washington or something. He has a normal life.
Becomes a lumberjack, but he's still wearing the mask.
And I like to imagine that people are just fine with it. Like he has a girlfriend that like will date him and like
just
kiss
like a
him
little
on the
weirded
mask.
out.
Yeah.
I can already see it. Like after like Laurie thinks she kills Michael, it's just like we cut and it's like a forest, like a snowy forest. It's like Washington. Like and then like the time like 5 years later, and we pan down to like a lumbering like town, you know, and people there working. You're like, oh, that's weird. Why are we here? You know, what's the point of showing us this? And then they're like, time for lunch, and they're like, what do you got, Michael? And you just see him in like a flannel with like the mask,
Oh my
and like
god.
the beanie over it. And there's a guy, it's just like, that Michael guy, he hasn't said anything since he arrived. Kind of an odd fellow.
So it's pretty much the ending of Dexter.
Yeah.
Or the original ending, rather.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
I'm not gonna lie, I would too.
At this point, fuck it. They've done so much of his character, fuck it.
I know.
That's honestly, I can imagine that being said in the writing room so many times. From making 5 through this one. Just fuck it.
Fuck it, who cares? There's 13 of these movies now.
At what point in a franchise do you say fuck it? Is it after 3? Is it 4?
I think it's definitely after 4. I after that,
It's definitely after 4. You just cannot stay close to the source material after 4.
No.
Well, speaking of like just writers saying fuck it, there's 3 alternative endings. Have you seen them?
No, what the hell?
Okay. So remember how I said that Jamie Lee Curtis was like, I'm only going to do it if Michael dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they secretly filmed some endings that were alternative because I think they were like, but what if we did want to make another movie?
Oh my god.
So one of them was exactly the same as how it ended, but in the end, instead of Busta Rhymes coming to save her, it's actually Deckard, the kid.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
In my opinion, May would have been more satisfying because in a movie you expect that. Mm-hmm. The character that's only been communicating them through like phone or technology or whatever. It's they're there at the end because they're watching it, you know. Mm-hmm. So that's that, you know. Mm-hmm. He just saves her. The other one is funny to me because you can tell I don't know why they even bothered filming it. It's when her and Busta Rhymes are at the end, like, and they bring Michael's like body by, and they're like, wait, I want to see him just to make sure he's dead. And they like unzip it and they're like, he's dead, all right. And then Michael grabs Busta Rhymes and strangles him. So the girl grabs a fire axe from the truck and slams it down like on Michael's chest, killing him.
Oh my god.
But the thing is, all the background actors are literally 2 feet behind them and they don't care. like Busta Rhymes is getting strangled and there's like 3 cops just talking right behind him.
Oh my god. That's awful.
So it almost seemed like something like, hey, what if we just like did this? And they didn't tell it. Like they were just like, do your normal thing, you know? Mm-hmm. And let's just try this scene. It's terrible.
That
But
sounds awful.
the third is the most bizarre. And it's the ending like normal. It ends how it normals, but there's one final scene at the end where these two, like, I guess they're supposed to be like FBI or CIA or something, somewhere important, right? Come to investigate. And they go around back to like the sewer, because that's how Michael's been like getting around, I guess.
What the hell?
And they look down in the sewer, like they're above it, and they put their flashlight, and then a hand grabs the girl and pulls her in.
What?
And that's supposed to be Michael, even though he's dead. So I'm like, did he do the bit again where he changed costumes?
Oh, that,
like,
he's just doing that all the time now?
Yeah, every movie just ends with him being Agent 47
That's
and
hilarious.
swapping costumes.
Yeah, because in that, I guess maybe in that ending they didn't show him getting pulled away on the gurney. I don't know.
I don't know. That was just like his own scene. It was like literally 20 seconds.
That's so
I assumed that would probably be an end credit thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, now it would have been used as it. and the one last thing, a tidbit I found funny, is that the main actress couldn't scream.
Yeah.
So all of her screams were dubbed in.
Yeah, they were dubbed in by Katie Sackoff, even the girl who played the blonde girl, because she was saying how she got jobs just because she could scream so well, and so then she ended up dubbing like most of the screams in the movie, which is crazy.
Like, nothing against the main actor, she's fine.
Yeah,
serviceable. She got her paycheck, but. Why you would cast someone in a horror movie, especially a slasher, that can't scream? Yeah. And the thing is, oh my god, I just get more mad the more I think about this movie. When they were doing the casting and something scared her, like the light fell, and she screamed so loud it broke glass. So you think, god, oh, that's gonna come in later, right?
Yeah. In a normal movie, it would.
Let's go full schlock here. Michael scares her and she screams so loud. He's like, oh, and grabs his ears and like it stuns him.
Right.
That's how you make a normal movie. It's stupid. But why even have that part?
Yeah. Unless it was set up for something later. Like an actual movie would do.
Like an actual movie would have setups and payoffs.
Right.
It's so baffling to me.
No, yeah, because as it is, it just feels like stylized, like cartoon logic. It's like, why nothing in real life is going to break from your scream.
No.
Like, it's just
you have
so
to hit,
dumb.
I guess you have to hit like a very specific pitch, but you have to like try to hit it.
Oh, really? So it can happen, actually?
It can happen, but I guess like you have to be like an actual like professional vocalist.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because it's like science shit with like frequencies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's way above my head. But yeah, Resurrection, I think we can agree, might be the worst Halloween.
Yeah, it's a toss-up, honestly, between this one and maybe 5 or 6.
See, 6 is funny to me. So I give that one a pass.
Yeah.
Where like I can find some entertainment value in that because like the choices are so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Where Resurrection, the choices are just, oh, okay. Okay, cool. Oh, what? Okay. Like, there's nothing batshit crazy in Resurrection like there is 6.
That is true. And at least in 5 and 6, you have Donald Pleasance to, like, tide you over, In Resurrection, you got nothing.
There's nothing.
Jamie Lee Curtis acting terribly, because I'm sure she didn't care for, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah, with a wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess they tried to kind of make Busta Rhymes that, like, person that you're interested in, but he's a terrible person. Him karate fighting Michael is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If this was done with a better Michael, it would have been funny to see him ready like a roundhouse kick, and Michael just do like the head tilt, like, bruh, what's going on?
That is true, and if in a better movie that might have worked a little bit more. Because it just felt so like cartoonish. Like this movie is just a cartoon.
Funnier if like the kid that did that was like a Naruto fan or something, like an anime kid.
Oh my god. He puts his arms behind him when he's running.
Yeah. He's like, oh no, Michael Myers behind me, got a blast, and then like puts his arms back and runs.
Yeah.
Michael's just like, what the hell? I shouldn't even kill this kid. Society will take care of him.
That should be the next movie. Michael goes after another group of teens, but they're like modern teens.
Yeah, it's at like a convention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can
like
get the
all the different types
TikTokers in there. You get the weeaboos.
Influencers, nerds, streamers,
yeah,
gamers.
And it's this current version of Michael, the one that's actually scary. So then it'll kind of be funny.
The one that will actually just tear your head apart with both of his hands.
Right.
Yeah, well, you know what? Compared to our other episodes, I think this one at least was a mixed bag. Where H20 was kind of like a nice palate cleanser, and then Resurrection was a grim reminder of how terrible these movies can be.
It's really, with the Halloween franchise, it's always like one step forward, two steps back, especially in the Mustafa Akkad era of sequels. And
especially with, I think we unanimously feel about Kills as well.
Oh, God,
2018 was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And then Kills came, we're like, oh, that's right. This is Halloween.
Yeah.
Why did he think we'd get a good movie?
I honestly can't wait to rewatch that one, because I have not seen that one since the theater.
I have not either. I'm very curious as well.
Mm-hmm. It'll be cool to see the extended cut as well, because I think there's a bunch more footage, allegedly, right?
Allegedly, yeah. I don't know what it is. I think it's just more people running around saying Evil dies tonight.
It probably is, yeah.
I after that movie, I do not want to hear Michael called evil. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I hate that fucking phrase now. It's so played out. Like, we get it. We understand. Please. There's been 13 movies of this. We know he's evil. Can we just move on?
Oh my god. That just reminded me how much Resurrection explains to you who Michael is. Literally, the Resurrection opens with like a recap of H20, right? And then the nurse is like, that's Laurie Strode. He went up against Michael 20-something years ago, who murdered blah, blah, blah teenagers. And then on the show, they're like, we're going to go to the Michael Myers house, the guy who murdered this many teen. Like, they explain it to you 4 times.
Yeah.
Right? This is like the 9th movie in the franchise. I know who Michael Myers is, right? Like, I don't need to be told this again. It was driving me insane.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and the only reason I could think of they were doing that is maybe because it had been so long since the original, they're probably trying to just fill people in who are young and new and who haven't seen the other ones, maybe.
I mean, maybe since they were going like the technology angle, hey, let's reach out to a younger crowd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But, I mean, I don't know how it was back then, but I feel like Michael Myers now is just like cultural osmosis. Everyone knows who he is. He's a household name.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows the masks.
Mm-hmm.
You just, Halloween comes around, Michael. You just see Michael everywhere.
Yeah, even the pure evil thing. I don't remember where it was, but someone did a survey once where they just went people on the street and they like gave them like a choice of like all the most famous slasher villains, and the question was like, who of these slasher movie villains is pure evil, like the most evil?
Yeah.
And like almost unanimously, like people put Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like people already know this stuff. Like you don't have to be so insulting about it.
Yeah, you don't have to treat us like a Marvel fan.
Right, yeah, we don't need that kind of stuff.
Especially in a movie that rewrites the previous movie. Why explain the thing then?
No, yeah.
I just hate when movies waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like you said, like this movie treats you like you're an idiot. Like you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've never watched a movie before.
Ugh. It probably is the worst one, like, after seeing it. And, oh, yeah, well, I think this goes without saying, but it's not scary at all.
No.
So that's one thing we can put against it.
It's literally just people running around a house.
Yeah.
And, like, Michael is able to just somehow stealthily move through all these rooms when there's, like, 6 people or 7 or 8 people in the house running around crazy, and they just somehow cannot find him.
And the house is not that big.
No, it's not. Michael's like fucking Agent 47 in this. His objective is to kill everyone so he can extract.
Yeah, literally.
It's like a stealth game. I think an easy summary is that H20 good, maybe relatively good.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction. Resurrection shouldn't have even been made. I think we can agree. Just stinky poopy.
Stinky poo-poo.
See, you know what? I'll give Resurrection credit. It wasn't as boring as 5.
That is true, yeah. It was like mildly entertaining. It was watchable.
Yes, it was watchable. Again, because it just follows such an overdone plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you just plug in names and it's the same movie as all these other slashers. Yeah, next we have Rob Zombie's coming up.
Yeah.
Which I am very excited for because I my feelings on these. So yes. I'm really excited.
Yeah, definitely. They're the most underrated of the Halloween movies, even more so than 3, I think.
Yes.
Just because I feel like 3 has gotten a lot more recognition recently.
3 has like a kind of a cult following.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But these people just have such a negative, Rob Zombie ones, I mean, they have such a negative reaction to for like no reason. I think it's just because they're different, really.
Yeah, that's it. Again, this is what like any fandom complains about, right? Like Star Wars is a perfect example. Like they're like, "Oh, you just do the same thing over and over again." And then they give them something new and they go, "What the hell? This isn't even like the originals. What the heck?" That is exactly the same of Halloween.
Yeah.
They will say, "Oh, they ruined Michael's character. Come on, we're just the same thing over and over." Okay, Rob Zombie's like, "Okay, let's give Michael a backstory. Let's try to do this. Let's throw in some weird, surreal, abstract shit." And they go, "What the hell? This is different. I don't understand it. I don't like it."
Yeah. Especially the second one. Like, it's baffling to me that people will say, "Oh, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is the worst one of them all."
Yes.
When like you have something like Resurrection. Like, yeah. Come on.
Again, I don't think people know from 5 through Resurrection. I don't think they know they exist.
No, honestly.
Everyone knows, obviously, 1 and 2. General audiences do not know 3. And they only remember 4 because of Jamie.
Yeah.
The rest between that and Halloween 2018, you talk to any random person on the street, they'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about? The Thorn? What the fuck?"
It's true. They'll be like, "Wait, Paul Rudd was in a Halloween movie? Are you kidding me?"
The hell? That's weird.
Yeah.
Is he funny in it?
Dude, I found out something really crazy about Halloween Kills. Because you know how they brought back the Tommy Doyle character?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who Paul Rudd played in 6? They were in talks with Paul Rudd to bring him back for Halloween Kills.
Oh my god.
And they were so close that it was literally up to Paul Rudd. Like, and
he didn't do it.
Yeah, because he had each had the choice between doing that movie or Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I don't think Ghostbusters Afterlife is a great movie or even a good one, really. But
I forgot it even came out.
I know it's definitely a better movie than Kills. I mean, that Kills is you made the right choice with that one.
But I mean, money wise, well, I don't know. Ghostbusters is probably bigger than Halloween.
Oh, easily, yeah. That is much more widely appealing than Halloween.
I'm just hoping for a miracle with Ends.
Yeah, me too.
If Ends is good, I can live a happy life.
The only thing I want out of that movie, I don't care what else happens in it. I literally just want Laurie to kill Michael.
Yes, please,
in a satisfying
God.
way.
But then there's
okay.
gonna be an end credit scene where Michael's hand twitches.
Oh my God! Please no. Which an interesting thing to note as well is that we're saying this is Mustafa Akkad's Resurrection was last film. Mm-hmm. So then I guess from here on out it's his son Malik Akkad who takes over. And allegedly the rumor is he does not have that same clause in his contract. Yeah, because you see, like, Michael dies basically at the end of Halloween 1 of Rob Zombie's movie.
Yeah.
He definitely dies at the end of the second one.
Yes.
So it's like, I definitely think they will actually let him be killed. But who knows?
Well, hey, it's not up to them. It's up to the shareholders.
Honestly, yeah, that's the depressing part about it.
Well, that was H20 and Resurrection. Next week we'll have our thoughts on the Rob Zombie one. That one's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening and suffering through Resurrection with us. And we'll see you next time.